Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. We are here, Mark Zuberek and
Jim Morose
Jim Morose. I forgot.
from Jim's Table Topics.
There we go, and I'm from the Topics of the Town, and we are reporting on a forum that was conducted for the new candidates at the Gordon Room at the library on April 8th. And what we want to do is just introduce it, how it came about, and what actually transpired. And you will have an opportunity to view the entire forum, question and answer session, and Jim's presentations, and my filming. So if there's anything wrong with the film, it's my fault.
And first and foremost, I want to thank you, Mark, for all the work you do behind the scenes, everything you've done. You know, you do a lot of work, and this is just one of them. And I appreciate you, all the time and effort you do. You do this town a great service and the citizens, so thanks.
Thank you, Jim. For one thing that we want to do is we need to look at how this whole process started.
Okay.
And if we can get a clip out on the sign-up sheet for the Board of Selectmen. So Ben there's a list. So go ahead.
Yeah, so what happened was the Danvers Republican Town Committee kind of talked about all these candidates. We had a couple of candidates that we talked into running, and all of a sudden 3 more popped up, and of course we knew that Dan Bennett, the incumbent, was running. We didn't know that Gardner Trask would take a second run after he lost last year, but he's back. So there's 7 people running for the 2 seats, and by coincidence, I don't know, the 2 people that we talked about running, there's 3 more people jumped in that weren't incumbents. Natalie, Luca Fiore, and Mark Lentini, and Michael Baxa all happened to be Republicans, and so there's 5 Republicans that were running, and they're all new candidates. They never really run for townwide elections, so we just thought that it would probably be a good idea to have them all together, and so and that's what we did. So between Dan Bennett and Gardner Trask, I'd say they got decades of. Everyone knows what they stand for and what they, and their stances on the town issues. So that was one of the things. In fact, if you want, you can put up the other picture there of the announcement. And while he looks for the announcement, we had a press release that went in the newspapers that on Danvers Patch that basically said the Danvers.
That's fine. Put that picture
up. The Danvers Republican Town Committee is pleased to announce a select board new candidate forum, providing an opportunity for voters to learn about the 5 new candidates vying for 2 available seats on the Danvers Select Board. With a total of 7 candidates competing for these positions, this non-debate forum was designed to allow the new candidates to introduce themselves, share their platforms, and connect with the Danvers electorate. And basically, we did this because between Facebook and just talking to people on the street, they wanted a place where they could see these new candidates without all the drama. And so it was just a safe place for people to come and just talk about the issues without the incumbents and things.
In reality, what this turned out to be, and it turned out to be by accident, that all of the new candidates are basically Republican-enrolled candidates for the town of Danvers. They volunteered, and we should be very happy with so many people trying to assist the town in their government.
Well, I don't know. I want to go back. I don't know if I'm really happy about so many people running, because now you've got 5 people that are basically new and pretty much similar on the platforms, and they're going to split the vote so that if we don't get enough people interested in coming out for local elections, the splitting of the vote will just let the incumbents win. And that's a big problem, I see.
And this is the reason I think you and I have collaborated on a lot of these candidates. We have supported anyone that wanted to run, because I even had them on my show and they were scared for the camera. But I think we have fun doing it. And this is supposed to be an introduction of each individual to the public. And you, the public, will make that choice.
Right.
However, last night, we had 5 of the 7 candidates, and they were the new candidate forum, and they were all invited to this forum, and it was held on Tuesday, April 8th at 6:30 p.m. And if you notice with the picture that we have shown, the room was, I counted at least 50 people in there. I think there were more because there was standing room behind me, behind the camera. I think they were bashful on being on film.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that. On Facebook and even on the patch, I put an email address for people. So I got like 10 emails of people saying, is this going to be aired live? When can we see it? And blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So, and plus the fact that the talk on Facebook, there's a lot of people saying, where is it? We want to see it. And so it's really, again, it's a great thing you did taping it. And I think it's going to be very interesting for the town to see these 5 new candidates. I think at one point in time during the debate, I said, the forum, whatever,
It's the forum.
The forum. A strange thing happened to me on the way to the forum. And the first round of opening statements, I allocated 5 minutes for each, and we were ahead of schedule by 20 minutes because, a politician never leaves time on the table, but they left 20 minutes.
Well, they're new at it.
They gave us more time for questions, but it was good.
But what I think I want to thank the library workers that were down in the children's room and the custodian, because the room was immaculate, and we had everything set up and everything worked. The one thing is that we are loud, and we speak over the microphone, and we didn't even have to use the microphone. I was able to capture everything on film.
Okay.
So
what do you think? Should we let the people watch it? I mean, are we done talking about it? Let's just see it.
That's exactly right. And what I want to do is welcome to the election forum. This will be a special that will be aired on cable, and it'll be on public access. Whether it's on your show, on my show, we're going to combine this. And hopefully have a good time watching the whole thing, because it is very informative. And it does give you a window of what these candidates are thinking and how they can help to resolve some of the issues that are happening in our town. And what the most important thing is, at my last 2 shows, I have presented the picture of the new town manager, because nobody knows who she looks like or what she looks like. And this gives you an opportunity to connect the picture to the words of the new candidates. So welcome aboard, watch the film, enjoy. Thank you.
Thanks.
Now I'm using the front door for entrance, and this is a noble library of
Sure.
Remember the good old school days.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
So then he had,
What is this for spring?
that must be spring,
It is spring.
yeah.
You don't have enough pictures you don't look at?
Okay, so I'm Jim Morose, I'm representative of the Danvers Republican Town Committee, and basically, you know, we decided to put this forum on because, you know, between Facebook and social media and some of the people I've talked to, they said, wow, there's 7 candidates running for 2 seats, who are these 5 new people? So we thought we'd just get the 5 new people and, you know, so people can see who they are, because they usually have the standard 7 candidate, and we'll let that happen. But this is just for the people who wanted to see the 5, here they are. And, you know, I just want them to, you know, get their feet wet the first time running for, you know, select a, you know, townwide selection, select board office, so it's just a tough thing. And me, I'll beg forgiveness before we even start. I'm not the best moderator in the world, I'll do what I can, and if I make a mistake, I'm sure you'll let me know, okay? Okay, so before we start, I usually like to start my meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance, so we good.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you very much, folks, and so I've got everyone set up here in the order which they're on the ballot, except for the 2 that, you know, not here, but, so, Natalie Luca, Sandy Franciscini, Mike Baxter, Mark Lentini, and Kevin Berry. So we're gonna start off in that order, and then we'll just kind of rotate. We'll try to keep the rotation as we go from segment to segment. Okay, and basically the ground rules of the format, I don't know if you guys got the agenda there, but we'll start out with a 3 to 5 minute opening remarks from each candidate. And then the second round will be another opening, you know, follow-up remarks. So after they hear everybody else talk, we'll give them another chance to say whatever else they want to say. And then we'll open it up for questions. I'll start with a question or 2 from the moderator, and then we'll try to take some questions from the floor. But again, we want the questions to be general, not candidate-specific, issue-specific, one that everybody can answer, okay? So when I ask my questions, that's kind of like the template we want to follow. Issue and what, you know, what needs to be done, or what's your opinion on what you're gonna do about it. So, and then at the end, we'll have closing remarks from the candidates, about 3 to 4 minutes. So, again, without further ado, we'll just start with the opening remarks. And Natalie, you're up first. So again, the option, you can sit, stand, whatever.
Have them stand at the podium, they'd be better. Yes. I think that's the best place. Then I can film it.
Okay, don't look at my notes.
Hi. All set, Mark?
Yes, I'm ready.
Hi, everybody. I'm Natalie Luca Fiore. Good evening. I'm honored to be one of the 7 candidates running for Danvers Select Board. And tonight I'd like to share a little about myself and why I'm asking for your support. I've been a licensed realtor for 30 years, currently with Keller Williams Evolution. I volunteer at Ipswich Humane. I am an adoption coordinator. I've been in dog rescue for almost 9 years, and that's like really my big thing. This is definitely not compared to that, so in my view. When I'm not working or volunteering, you'll find me either gardening or with my nose in a good book. The library here has been something that's been very meaningful to me. I've been elected as library trustee. I've been a 2-time appointee to the hiring committee for the director here at the library. I'm an elected town meeting member. I've been appointed to the town manager and town meeting Acts Review Committee, and I'm treasurer of the Danvers Rotary Club. So all this experience makes me uniquely qualified to serve the taxpayers here at Danvers. My husband, Bill, who's a retired lieutenant of the Beverly Fire Department, and I have called Danvers home for the past 19 years. We moved here because we saw something special, a true sense of community. At the time, I was already working in Danvers, and we both felt that this was the kind of town that we wanted to be a part of. Over the years, I've watched that community feeling start to slip away, and that's part of why I'm running. So with a new town manager and 2 open seats on the select board, we have a real opportunity for a fresh start to bring back the strong, connected, vibrant Danvers that drew so many of us here in the first place. I attended the town manager interviews and left feeling hopeful. Ms. Cahill spoke about being transparent and communicative, and I'm optimistic that she'll follow through on those promises. But no one person can make that happen alone. Moving forward will take a team effort. Town leadership, board members, department heads, and most importantly, the people of Danvers working together. If elected, I'm ready to take on that challenge and do the hard work to help make our town stronger. Thank you.
Okay, great. And next is Sandy Francischini. What's that? Oh, okay. Yeah, we have timers here, just in case we get to the time and we're doing good.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Sandy Francischini, and I'm running for select board because I love Danvers. The Danvers we all know, with its quiet street, open spaces, and that small town feel we call home. I'm a mom, a neighbor, and someone who lived here long enough to see what makes this special. I'm not here with big political promises or fancy speeches. I'm here because I want to keep our town a town. Lately, it feels like there's pressure coming at us from all sides. Development mandates, calls for more growth, more building, more crowding. I'm worried about what that means for our kids, our families, and the way of life we've built here. I don't want Danvers to turn to just another overpacked suburb where we lose what makes us unique. That's why I'm stepping up, and I want to fight to push that back against those outside rules that don't fit who we are, and most importantly, to fight for our children's future, because the decisions we make today will affect them the most. If I'm on the select board, my focus will be simple: keep Danvers a town, not a city. That means saying no to unnecessary development, and yes to protecting our green spaces, our neighborhoods, and our schools from getting overwhelmed. I'll listen to you, to the parents at the park, to the folks who've been here forever. Because this isn't about my ideas alone, it's about what we all stand for, Danvers. I'll work hard to make sure our voices decide our future. I'm not a politician by trade, I'm just someone who cares. I see my kids playing in the yard, and I want them to grow up in the same town that I did. I know we can't stop time, but we can stop runaway growth that doesn't belong here. With your support, I'll bring that fight to the select board. Practical, stubborn, and all about keeping Danvers the way we love it. Thank you, and I'd be honored to have your vote. I have been a stay-at-home mom now for about 20 years. It has been quite the adventure, I must say, but I wouldn't trade that time for anything. It afforded me time with my children and also allowed me to help out in the school careers as well, whenever possible. I thoroughly enjoyed my time, but could also be grueling at times as well. Prior to that, I had worked for a medical software company called McKesson Health Solutions. They actually are a pharmaceutical company based out of San Francisco, California. They were interested in seeing how the medical software market would play out. So I initially started as administrative assistant. I was the administrative assistant to the president, vice president, and director of development. I then decided to become a quality assurance analyst. And my job was to create test plans, report defects, and also, also working with different departments that blended into our production. I had worked for McKesson for 10 years before deciding to stay home with my family. And now would love your vote to elect me as one of your select board members. Thank you very much.
Very good. And next up is, you like Mike or Michael? Mike it is. Mike,
Thanks. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Mike Baxter. I'm running for select board member. This is my first time running for politics, and I got into this race because Danvers needs to see some change. We need some fresh blood, and we need to have new ideas and start thinking outside the box. And I think I can really bring that to the table. I moved here about 6 years ago with my beautiful wife and my beautiful daughter, Ava, who are in the audience tonight. Ava's at the Thorpe School, and our school system is getting overcrowded. Our teachers are experiencing more kids in the classroom. I feel that they're underpaid and overworked. We need to back the fire department, the police department, and the EMS. We've recently had some terrible atrocities happen in Danvers with CVS and all these other things happening, with a citizen being brutally beaten in a park. These things don't happen if you have a strong police force and strong first responders in the fire and EMS. And they have my full support. Another thing is, when you drive through the town square, this is a big thing for me because I've been in the food and beverage industry for 20 plus years. And my job in the food and beverage industry has been to come in and help revitalize struggling businesses with my relationships and my innovative thinking. And I want to bring that to Danvers Town Square and the local businesses in Danvers. After speaking with a lot of the business owners, they're having a tough time navigating Town Hall. Town Hall needs to be transparent. It needs to be approachable. I'm going to bring that to Danvers. I'm going to work with local business owners and potential business owners. We need to get the 10 abandoned storefronts in Danvers Square filled. That is tax revenue for the town. In turn, that's going to generate more business, people coming to Danvers, tourism, all that. We need to do that. We need to get back to having a strong sense of community. I think that's really big. I think that the Falcon Fest is doing a great job. We can do better, and together we will. I'm going to reach out to them and work with them to get the community as one again, which we should. Thank you for your time. I look forward to your vote and your endorsement, and we'll see you on May 6th.
All right, thank you very much, Mike. And next up is going to be Mark Zuberek.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mark Landau. I have 3 adult children, and when we were first married in 1990, we thought we might want to live in town. Didn't think we were going to be able to do it, but somehow we made it work. And my kids went to the same school system as I did. Thorpe, Bolton Richmond, Danvers High School, played sports, cheered, and they have, all 3 of them have successful careers now. My concerns for Danvers are numerous. My biggest concerns is we need fiscal responsibility and accountability. We need to have retention of employees. We need to attract quality employees. Over the years, there's been a significant number, north of 100 folks, that have left the town of Danvers employment, myself included. I was a 10-year employee for the town of Danvers, and I was also the union president, so I have an intimate knowledge of what goes on in town hall, and it wasn't good while I was here. I resigned at a Board of Selectmen meeting October 4th, coming up on 3 years now. We need to do better with our employees. We also need to generate new revenue streams. Taxpayers can't handle the burden. They don't deserve to handle the burden. There's enough commercial, there's enough industrial in town. We need to generate, we have revenue streams in the pipeline. We just need to focus on them, get them up and running, because that'll contribute. The other thing I like to say is, I've only known 3 town managers in my life. Bob Curtis, who was a neighbor, Wayne Marquis, never forget that man, and Steve Bartha. And in the last 7 to 10 years, I have not appreciated the direction that the town is going in at all. We cannot have any more Maple Squares in downtown Danvers. I understand that there's a housing shortage, but we cannot have any more Maple Squares in downtown Danvers. It's aesthetically not pleasing. Some of the other proposed projects, we need to get the planning board, we need to get the select board, we need to get town hall. Everybody's gonna be on the same page, and the community needs to speak up, voice your ideas and opinions, so we can act upon those. If there's meetings being held about a particular project, when the hardware store starts to get developed, then we need to, as a community, speak up, all come together, and make some change. Downtown, that's why we moved here 32 years ago, so we need to keep that. I look forward to earning your vote. I hope I can count on you, and if not for the election, as a community, to come together, and let's get this done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, very good. So, and next up will be Kevin Barrett.
Good evening. My name is Kevin Barrett. Thank you so much to Jim and the Danvers Republican Town Committee for putting this forum on tonight. I'm honored to be here among 5 new candidates and 7 candidates total for the Danvers Select Board. I grew up in Danvers. I'm a proud resident of Danvers. I'm a husband, a father, and a veteran. I have some folks with me tonight. My wife Sarah, who's been really supportive through this whole campaign, is here with me. 2 of my daughters, Abby and Vivi, in the back. My oldest daughter is away finishing her freshman year at the University of Alabama, and my dad's in the back row also. So glad to have my family here to support me. Like I said, I grew up in Danvers. I attended Thorpe and Great Oak Elementary Schools, Dunn Middle School. It makes me feel old that the school I attended is no longer there. And then I graduated from St. John's Prep. After St. John's Prep, I joined the U.S. Army. I apologize to St. John's Prep now publicly for ruining their college admission stats that year. But that's what I did. So I served in military intelligence. I learned Arabic and spent a year in Iraq. But I got to spend most of the rest of it in Italy, so it was all worth it. And Italy is where I met my wife. Like many of you, I returned to Danvers. I heard Mark speak about how he wasn't sure he was going to be able to afford to live in Danvers, and that was certainly the case for me. I had to kind of go off, get my career established, even my civilian career established for a little while after the Army before I could afford to come back here. But you know, I like to say that everything my recruiter told me was true. I got to see the world. I got to have my first experiences with leadership. I got to go to school on the GI Bill, and I got a VA mortgage to buy my house. So it all worked out. I think what local government does is important. National defense and diplomacy are clearly the things that our federal government has to do for us, but after that, local government does most of what I want any government to do for me. It educates my kids, it keeps my streets clean, it responds with fire and EMS and police in case I have a really bad day. And so all these things that our town does and takes care of our vulnerable populations, people that need the services of the Board of Health, veterans, seniors, all of these things are worth doing, and they're worth doing well. And I'd like to help Danvers keep doing these things well and improve where we can. I also believe that it's a time for change. We have a new town manager coming. I think it's a great time to have some new faces on the select board to work with the new town manager to help chart a direction for our town. Like we've heard from several candidates tonight, overdevelopment in our town is a big concern. I think we're even starting to see some of the current members of the select board turn a little bit on that one from some of the recent meetings. You know, and it's not just undoing some of what's been done. We can and we should amend our zoning. It's our zoning. It should reflect what we want for our town. But if you looked at the housing production plan, at some of the ideas that are in draft there, like having two-family housing on every lot in town by right, like increasing commercial in our residential zones. There's a lot there that we need to stop from happening, not just things that have already happened that we need to undo. I believe in transparency and I believe in accountability. I believe that our budget challenges are within our power to solve without continually asking for new sources of revenue, money out of your pocket. And at the same time that our budget is struggling, we also have some things that we need to pay for. We have some aging elementary schools. We have some DPW buildings that are aging rapidly and need to be replaced and consolidated. I think we can do it. I think with some diligence and some creativity in our budgeting, we can afford what we need. We can afford some of what we want, and we can maintain Danvers with great services and a great place to live for all of us. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Kevin. Okay, as you can see, I'm already failing as a moderator because I had allocated, till 7:10 for these 5-minute questions. Look, these guys aren't really politicians because there's still 20 minutes left on the day. But, so hopefully, that's why I got this, the follow-up remarks set up, so after they've heard other people speak, hopefully they can, talk more about, personal things, issues and whatever, so we're gonna rotate, so on this round, we'll start with Sandy Franciscini. Just keep rotating.
Hello again. Just want to bring up some issues that I feel that may be a problem here in town. The issue is overbuilding. So I believe that's the most pressing challenge we feel we are facing right now, which is the new 3A MBTA rule. I had heard last night that Tewksbury has now turned over their planning board, so they're no longer going to be ruling the MBTA rule. So they won't do a revote to their town meeting, so they're on the list of the folks that do not want the MBTA rule. As we all know, Middleton is also another town that also has voted twice against it. So I think it would be really important that we decide maybe possibly to do the same. I had printed out the Danvers Mass Town Manager position statement. And in here, I was surprised to see all the information that they had put out. Let's see here. So, for example, for the development, they said Danvers is in the midst of a major downtown revitalization project that officials hope will bring in new life and energy into the town. Throughout the development, 85 contiguous acres into mixed-use space. However, there's a concern about how continued growth will impact the feel of this close-knit community. The centerpiece of the downtown project is Maple Square. It is a mixed-use development featuring 142 apartments with retail and commercial space at the ground level. Now, they're saying an additional 30 units of housing is slated for the former Danvers hardware store. So that's about 152 apartments. I mean, that's a lot of apartments. Where are they all gonna park? And that's gonna put a crunch into our resources as well. They keep complaining that there's no water, but yeah, if they have something here that states, apologize guys, let's see here. No, they have listed this. Of course, now I can't find it. Okay, here it is. The Department of Public Works is spearheading a 20-year, $45 million infrastructure initiative to create a more sustainable water supply. The department is also undergoing comprehensive wastewater and collection system rehabilitation program to improve aging infrastructure. So how does that affect our taxes? And how are they going to do that and not affect how the town is going to look? I don't understand how they're going to put that through. So that was a little bit concerned. So I'm a little bit concerned about how many apartments we're going to have. So Danvers Square already experiences heavy traffic during peak hours, and adding large-scale developments could overwhelm our infrastructure and diminish the character of our town. This law is now driving efforts to reclassify many one-family home plots to two-family home plots with an ADU option. Now, we can't go with this one plan, one-size-fits-all plan, because not all homes are the same, not all plots are the same. So it'll clash with our character and our preferences of how we want our town to be, okay, sorry guys. Thank you. So I apologize, guys. So I'm just concerned about the overbuilding. I'm just concerned about having these large buildings in our town, and some issues here. Okay. First thing is it's too large. Is parking allocated for these residents? We don't have anything that states if we have the full parking spot or parking and a half, which is what they typically do. Residents should, and then another thing that I also had talked about at the planning board meeting was, is there a way that we can allow these residents to allow a one-way in and out of the parking lot? So I think it might be smart to have them come out and take a right on North Putnam Street, and then take a right on Maple Street, and maybe decide making Maple Street a one-way traffic. And I remember back in the day, they had the slotted parking spots in town too. So that might alleviate some of the traffic and some of the mayhem in the square and such too, so. Is my time up, guys? 30 seconds. 30 seconds, okay. So another thing that I'm concerned about too is the curvage that they have in the front, where they have the light fixture. It seems like some of the curve is coming into the real estate of the Hobart Street. So it makes it a little, concerning to get into that road. So I'm a little concerned about that. So, sorry guys. Okay. And then it's also, we have enough people residing in this apartment to have the bus line reinstated into the town as well. That's another concern that I have.
No bus.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Sorry, guys. Thank you.
No
I
bus.
wasn't one person for that, so I wasn't sure we're discussing. Thank you.
Next up is Mike Baxter.
So basically a continuation of what I had said in my introduction. We'll dive a little deeper into it. I want to create responsible development that aligns with Danvers' long-term goals. I want to ensure that infrastructure improvements that we're going to make are both sustainable and beneficial to the community while preserving the town's unique character. What I mean by that is Danvers is a small town, and I think all of us here love that small town charm, and it's what brought us all to Danvers to begin with. Another issue is community engagement and transparency in government. Committed to creating an open, accessible government that listens to the residents and fosters meaningful community involvement. I'll ensure transparency in decision-making as a member of the select board, and that the voices of you, the Danvers residents, are heard. And I will stand up there and ask the tough questions and fight for what we believe in as residents of Danvers. Another one is preserving the town, the character of Danvers. We need to be responsible in all these developments. And as Mark brought up earlier, we don't need another Maple Street. There's other ways to expand our new incoming residents. And I think that's through keeping that small town charm of single family homes and at most duplexes, townhomes, something of that nature. It keeps the charm of Danvers still there. The other thing I want to touch on again is I'm dedicated to creating a thriving local economy through local business, fostering new economic opportunities that benefits us, the residents of Danvers. I'm going to be a member of the select board. I'm one of you. I'm a resident. My daughter goes to school here. We live here, and we want to enjoy the businesses in Danvers. And I think a lot of them are great. We eat out at a lot of the restaurants a couple times a week, and trying to work as many of the local businesses as possible. And when somebody, as a business owner, wants to do something new and needs a license to expand or grow, or, for example, sell 3 used cars, And the town is fighting them and pushing back on that, and making it difficult. That affects us as the residents, you know, so the more that we can invest in not only local business, but everything else that I had mentioned today, the stronger we'll be as a community. And that's kind of it, you know. That's my deal.
Very
Hey,
good.
Jim?
Thanks a lot. Okay, next up will be Mark Zuberek. Follow-up.
Mark?
I can't hear you in the back.
Can't hear who?
Anybody?
Really?
Yeah, you're always loud.
People looking at Mimi.
Speak up.
Sorry, I don't mean it. So before I get on to what I talked about in my first segment, revenue streams, I just want to touch on what the three candidates have already said. Infrastructure is so important to this community. Every year, when do we go on water restrictions? May? We're gonna put 140 new units in Maple Square, then the hardware store. Our infrastructure, what's gonna happen? We're not gonna have water. And yet, we can't not use water as an excuse not to build, from what I was told. ADUs. Extended living facilities. You know, in-law apartments. ADUs, Danvers doesn't have a plan just yet. I'd like to be a part of the select board that creates that plan for ADUs. Because if the planning board and the select board and town government don't pay close enough attention to ADUs, I understand there's a housing crisis. However, people are gonna build them, separate utilities, separate everything. They're gonna condoize them or sell them separately. How's that gonna work? The planning board needs to address this. The select board needs to address this. The community needs to address this. That's all I have to say about that. Now, revenue streams. We need to increase revenue to lessen the burden on the taxpayers. I don't want to pay any more taxes than you guys do. Trust me. We own the transfer station. I've been up at town meeting. I'm a town meeting member of Precinct 6. I spoke about this before. I've gotten public records from Town Hall in regards to the transfer station. We own it. Covanta has been leasing it for the last 7, 8 years. They're making millions of dollars a year on trash. Why aren't we doing that? We make $1 a ton, $1 a ton from every ton of trash that goes into that transfer station. They make $1. They're making millions. We need to take the transfer station back, do what Covanta's doing, create that revenue stream, and use that to pay down OPEB, to pay down our bonds, because let's face it, we went from a AAA to a AA. That's problematic. The other idea that I had, I work in the town of Wenham. Wenham and Hamilton both have their own ambulance service. Not a private company, but their own ambulance service. So every time that ambulance leaves the garage, they get the money. And it goes directly to EMS. And the reason why Danvers can't do that is why? I don't know, but I'm gonna get answers. That I promise you. Those are revenue streams. When we used to send my mom out to the hospital in ambulance, it was $2,600 from 2-Lane Road in Danvers to Beverly Hospital. Why can't Danvers take that revenue back? So together, all of us in this room, the community, the select board, we can make these things happen. That's what I want to see happen. With your support, we can get this done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Next up is Kevin.
Thanks. I think we've heard a lot of good ideas tonight. I think the perspectives that we've heard about development and overdevelopment really do reflect the consensus in our community right now. I think we've probably heard the least about the budget. I heard some great ideas from Mark that are worth pursuing, and I'd like to talk a little bit more about the budget, because I don't. Although we've heard great things about zoning and overdevelopment, I'm not sure I have anything new to add on the subject, so I'll go with budget. Like I said in my opening, we're right up against our levy limit, which means we can't tax anymore to bring in new revenue. We're right up against it. So every year we have our 2.5% levy growth plus whatever new growth we have in town, new buildings, that kind of thing, right? And so this is starting to affect our credit rating. We saw our first credit rating downgrade in quite a while. We were very proud when we got that AAA rating, but we don't have it anymore. Simply put, just like you or me, no one wants to lend money to someone who's already accounted for every dollar that they're spending. They want to lend money to someone that has some disposable income, right? So we absolutely should work on the revenue side, like Mark said. We have to work on the spending side also. We need to purposely spend under our means in order to be able to afford the big things that we want, and in order to be able to afford them at a credit rating that gives us an interest rate that's affordable for us. And so I talked about two things, discipline and creativity. I'll talk about the discipline side because I think additional revenue streams, like Mark said, is a lot of what goes into that creativity side. Maybe the other thing I'd add to that creativity side is regionalization, where it makes sense and where it benefits us. There are, if I look at veteran services, right, and I'm a veteran, so I'll touch the third rail, I'll do it. But Newburyport, Amesbury, Merrimack, and those communities have banded together to deliver their veteran services. It doesn't come out to a cut in services, it comes out to an increase. They can do things that we can't because they're doing it together, like offer veterans rides to the hospitals in Boston or to the clinic in Bedford. In terms of discipline, here are some things I saw last year during the budget process. Select Board, FinCom. I heard arguments that, such and such town employee retired, and they were a really hard worker, so we need to replace them with 2 people. I heard arguments that even after, passing warrant articles to do technology insertion, we still needed exactly the same number of people to process applications that we used to. Unfortunately, headcount growth is what is killing us, right? Our expenses that we can't afford are OPEB and pension. So pension and retiree benefits like healthcare. I'm not looking to gut our town, I'm not looking to lay people off, but at least we have to control the headcount. We can't afford to add new employees where we're not adding requirements, so we need new employees, or we have a meaningful way to increase the service by adding the employees. So that's what I mean by discipline. It's not about cutting services, it's not about cutting people that already work here and give us their time. It's about having discipline in the way that we increase. I'll say just a bit about transparency. Warren, how am I doing on time?
1 minute, 30 seconds.
Sounds great. So I've spoken about transparency, and from the select board, I'll tell you what I think that means. It means that we decide important issues in public. Executive sessions should be rare. They should be rarer than rare. So when we have an ethics scandal in town that's embarrassing to the town, embarrassing goes in public, right? Not behind closed doors. When we want to select an acting town manager because our town manager has left, we do that in public. We debate the merits of the various candidates and we make a decision in public. We have a requirement in the state that anybody that meets an executive session periodically reviews the minutes of executive sessions to see if they still need to be kept private, away from the public. When's the last time any of you saw the select board engage in that, or any board in town engage in that, and release the minutes of meetings that they've held in the past? And the reason for keeping them private has come and passed. It can be public now. I don't believe I've ever seen it. This is what I mean by increasing transparency. And it's not something the select board has to impose on the town, it's something the select board can do for itself. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Kevin. And the last one in this round is Natalie.
plans and issues portion of the night. So since moving here in 2006, I've done my best to give back. I ran for town meeting member early on and was not elected because nobody knew who I was, and so that wasn't going to happen. But I stayed with it, and in 2013, there was an opening on the library board, and this library means a lot to me. It's something that I had always kind of wanted to be involved with, and so I saw an opportunity, and so I ran for library trustee, and I won that seat. In 2015, I decided to try running again for town meeting member because that's where really the big things happened. And so I did run in my precinct too, and I won, and again have been a town meeting member up to this day. I was up for re-election, but decided that there was a sense of urgency for this position, so that's what I'm doing instead of putting my name in for town meeting member again. And again, I am the treasurer for Danvers Rotary, so fiscally, I have been involved in the budget process here over the years, and as well as, you know, fiscal responsibility with treasurer for the Rotary. So I chose not to seek re-election as a library trustee this year because I believe in making room for new voices and fresh ideas. I strongly support self-imposed term limits if there aren't any in writing. So too often voters don't ask whether incumbents have been an active participant or whether new candidates are showing up and doing their work. That's something I hope that we can all pay more attention to when we elect people, because real progress depends on engaged leadership. My time as library trustee has meant a lot to me. I've held different officer positions on the board, helped organize fundraisers, overseen the trust fund, and worked to keep the library strong for future generations. Now I'm ready to take what I've learned and bring that commitment to the select board, hopefully. I've always had select board in my future plans of trying to run, but right now it feels more urgent than ever. Our downtown is struggling, all the things that we've all really feel are the same issues. I'm sure everybody out there does. Overdevelopment threatens our town's unique character. We can all feel that sense of community slipping away. So with leadership and experience and my professional background in real estate and my deep care for this town, I believe I can help lead us forward. Like many residents, as I said, we all have the same worries about revitalizing the downtown. I am so sad to drive through there and have it be like a ghost town. I especially was disgusted the other day when I went for a walk with my husband and walked through so much trash. I wonder when our DPW, who are wonderful, but are driving around, why isn't anybody stopping and picking up this trash? I don't know businesses are going to want to come with sidewalks full of trash. So that was a real issue that I had the other day. Slowing down housing growth and making sure any development we do is thoughtful and planned out, of course, is a huge issue in town. Affects our whole infrastructure, water, schools, fire, police, just everybody, we're all affected by it. The police, I know, are facing some challenges at bare minimum for capacity, and they would probably need a study done soon to see about staffing. Regaining our AAA bond rating is paramount, absolutely paramount. Promoting fiscal responsibility and making transparency a priority. So those are all my things that I care about. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Natalie. Okay, that concludes the follow-up. Okay, so now we'll pick up the pace. We're still 20 minutes ahead of schedule, so that leaves a more extra time for the questions. And again, so just keep your questions generic. I'll start off with one. Someone actually sent me this question in email before I came here, so I like that better than the ones I had. So I'm gonna ask this one. What specific qualities should a select board candidate have? And so, starting off this round, we're gonna go with Mike.
I gotta go.
Yeah, it's not like you're up.
Mark, can you repeat the question, please?
Oh, yeah, sure. It's, what specific qualities should a select board candidate have? Specific qualities.
I think the most important quality that a select board member should have is community outreach, relationship building, getting to know you guys, community, the men and women of Danvers, and being your voice, you know, and the steward of the town bylaws is what we're here to do. And that's kind of my answer.
Very good.
Straight to the point.
Next up, Mark.
I think one of the priorities of a select board member is not being afraid to ask the tough questions. Roll up your sleeves and go to work. Plain and simple. I have coached in the past 15 years. I was a youth football coach. 9 years I coached Little League Baseball. I'm a member of the Touchdown Club, the Legends Club now, the former Touchdown Club for 30 years. As I mentioned before, I was the union president for 6+ out of my 10+ years in Danvers. Advocating, listening. You got 2 of these and 1 of these. So if you listen and you can advocate like I did as union president, I think that's all you can ask for a good select board member. Thank you.
Kevin, you're up.
So I think leadership experience is important in our select board. Like I said, I had my first taste of it in my early 20s in the Army. And what that taught me is that to lead people, you have to care about them first. Not just about their performance, that's a manager, but to lead them, you have to care about them as people. You have to care about their development. You have to care about their advancement, you have to care about their families, and you have to care about their careers. I think like Mark said, listening is very important, and the listening never stops, right? So the 5 people that are serving on the board should be listening to the residents. They should be listening, and listening goes beyond just hearing the words. You have to be willing to be persuaded, right? You shouldn't be so set that a good argument can't sway you from what you think. And I pledge to do that. I pledge to value that public comment period. And when people want to reach out to me via phone or email, I'll value that too, but I'll value that public comment period. That should always go first at the meeting, even when the issue is contentious. The select board should want to hear what you have to say and want to be persuaded by you. Because on the org chart of our town, it's you and then it's the select board and the school committee and the library trustees. And I think relationship building is really important. We have some differences, the 5 of us here, with maybe 2 of the candidates that are running, maybe some people that are on the select board now, maybe we have some differences with each other. But I think it's worth noting that the most common vote on the select board, the most common vote is 5-0, right? Most things are uncontroversial. It's this very small subset of issues that are controversial. So hopefully we'll build relationships with each other. Hopefully we'll build relationships with our town employees and with our residents, and all feel good about the meetings when they're done, even if they were contentious. And go downtown and have a beer and well, no, we won't do that. That would violate the open meeting law.
No, it won't.
Thank you, Mark.
No, it won't. It'll be fine.
As long as
You're right.
But hopefully we're all collegial to that degree that we would if it were permissible. Thanks very much.
Kevin, thank you very much. Next up is Natalie. Okay.
So I would say one of the most important things is the ability to compromise. So which does tie into listening and whatnot. Being on the town committee, the committee for reviewing the town meeting and town manager act that I'm on now, I do have to say that that has been a real eye-opener. There's 10 of us, and we all have pretty different opinions. I have stood out on my own a bit with strong opinions that I really felt one way. We all listen to each other and definitely talk things out. Sometimes we're able to compromise and come to a happy medium. Sometimes it does end up going the way of the majority of the vote, which is how it should go. But the ability to be able to talk about things and try to compromise so that everybody feels that they're heard and everybody feels that they've come away from the table winning something definitely is important. And I think that that's what we've been lacking, and I think that that's what I hope to bring to the select board if elected. Thank you.
Natalie, thank you, and next and last one for this round is Stan.
I think the number one thing is communication. I feel that we need more transparency when it comes to our interaction with the town and or town hall. I feel more needs to be done to help residents and business owners have the ability to voice any concerns they may have. I know of a previous select board who would hold what was called select board office hours. And they would meet every other Thursday, and they would assign a particular a select board member to cover the time. And they would meet every other Thursday in the 2E room from 5 to 7. It gave folks another outlet to reach out with any issues or concerns. Not everyone can attend the regular meetings, and we're only allowed 2 minutes to speak. How much can you really put into 2 minutes? And that time may not accommodate some issues. This method is just a bit less stressful with no real agenda, so to follow it makes it a bit easier. So it makes it easier for folks to just sit down and just be able to just talk and let them know what their issues are. And this way they feel heard, they feel that somebody is listening to them, and that we could come to a solution or come to a resolve and just be able to talk with them and make them feel like they're being heard. So another method is also the reverse 911 calling or the town announcements that they do over the phone. Sometimes it's hard. People are not always on the internet or are able to get into that information. So I figured they usually use it for letting us know when there's elections, snow emergencies, and of course my favorite, the Christmas tree pickup. So I figured it's just another method, another way to let people know, not for every particular issue, but something that's of importance, saying, we really need you down at town hall, we really need your feedback, can you please make sure you make it to this meeting? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandy. Okay, so we'll go to the audience for a question, and the next one up will be Mark Martin will go first. So does anybody have a question? Oh, okay, you go. Could you, yeah, please speak loud so.
I have a big voice.
Okay, go ahead.
One of the things that I don't know about any of you is what you're doing for work. And I think that sometimes helps when you sit on a board and you get some ideas from you.
Okay, very good.
Oh, thank you for making it an easy one.
I've got a follow-up though.
Oh, great. Right now, I'm currently employed with the town of Wenham. I work in their DPW department, similar to what I did here in Danvers. Only I don't have any union responsibilities over there.
There you go.
It's, yes, let somebody else have all the headache work. You got a follow-up for me?
I have a comment for everybody.
Okay.
Okay, Kevin, you're up.
So I spent post-Army, we talked about that, I spent most of my career in the defense industry. I worked at places like Raytheon and the Charles Stark Draper Laboratory in Cambridge. So I managed teams and teams of teams at different points, and mostly focused on cybersecurity. So right now, I'm a Department of Defense civilian, also focused on cybersecurity. And because I said it, and I said it publicly, I have to add a disclaimer. My views are my own and do not represent the public.
Thank you very much, Kevin. And next up is Natalie.
So I've been in real estate for 30 years. I work for Keller Williams Realty in Beverly. So it's been almost 31 years actually, so. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie and Sandy.
Hi, I have been a homemaker now for the past 20 years. Prior to that, I worked for a medical software company. I started off as an administrative assistant and then eventually to QA analyst. I had to write test plans, report defects, so there was a lot of going on and stuff too. So it kind of molded me to where I am today. So I'm constantly thinking about things and looking at pros and cons and does this make sense? This doesn't seem right. So that's how I put it through. So you have any other questions or any follow-up?
I only have a comment. I went to every planning board meeting about that monstrosity,
Yes.
and I didn't sit, I'm sorry, I saw one selectman there the whole time, and I went to like half a dozen meetings at least. How do you guys plan to pull this community together so that the selectmen are working with all these boards and people can stand up and say no?
We need enough people to say no. So I agree, the building should not have been put there. It's too large. It should have been put in the Endicott Street corridor. I think what they should do is keep it the same framework how it has. It just has the commercial on the first floor, and then just one floor residential up above. So I think that's how it should be.
I don't know if everybody's aware, there's 142 apartments
Right.
and only 142 parking spaces.
Right.
So where are they gonna be?
Right.
That's my comment.
Exactly. And they want to put another 30 where the Danvers hardware store was too. So there's more people added on to the parking as well. So I'm not sure what they're going to do with that as well. Okay. I'm not sure if I can continue on. I'm sorry, I'm going to get trouble.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you so much.
You're gonna pull the last one on this one.
Okay, right, yeah. Like I said before, I have 20 years in the food and beverage industry. From starting off as a dishwasher at a young age to help mom pay the bills, and working my way up to a GM and consultant to revitalizing struggling small businesses, especially bars, restaurants, with a new, fresh approach to things, thinking outside the box, and making them profitable. You know, drawing the community into these restaurants in the areas that they were located in. For the past 6 years, I've been in the liquor industry. I work for a liquor supplier as a sales manager, and I travel around and talk to complete strangers every day. So this is why I don't have much written down, and it comes sort of natural to speak to a crowd like this. And I thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to do this. You know, how we plan to pull the community together is going to take a lot of hard work and effort on our part, especially mine, but it's also going to take some outgoingness as the community members. I said it on Mark's show the other day, if you can take 2 minutes out of your day and talk to a complete stranger each day, you'll meet 365 new people. And I think as a community, we need to start talking to our neighbors, saying hi in town square, and getting to know each other again. Because in the communities of past, that's how it was. You know, we were neighbors, and now we're sort of passerbys. And that's my.
Thank you all.
And so because your follow-up question kind of lines in with one of my questions, I'm just gonna ask it, so. All right, so the next question, and let's see, who starts? I think, Mark, you're gonna go. Kevin goes first this time, very good. I can't keep track of myself, Okay, so here's the question. How does the continued industrial, commercial, and living unit density development affect Danvers' infrastructure systems, like the police, school, etc.? So, Kevin?
Right, I kind of like going last, you know? All the good ideas. thing. No, I mean, clearly, it increases the need for all those services. I think Jim is the answer. And so, I think we are going to have a need to increase services. I think Mike has been a big advocate on the select board of adding additional police services. I think that is necessary. You know, when we have an incident in town and we hear from the police, they just don't have the people to patrol the square like they used to. That they just don't have the people to have a traffic car. I think we need to fix that. So we need to invest in our services where we can. But I think I agree with my fellow candidates that we also want to try to arrest that growth in some cases, right? That growth is good, growth is normal. We want new businesses to open, we want new residents to move to town, but we have to make the pace of change manageable for us so that our services can catch up, so that our services can keep up. We also don't want to be in a constant fight with the state. I don't want to go there, right? I don't want to get into the cycle where we're suing the state and the state suing us. So we need to comply, but we need to creatively comply. In some cases, we need to minimally comply to try to keep the rate of growth something that we can manage.
Okay, so next up, Natalie,
Can you repeat?
repeat the question. I'm gonna have to find it. Okay, how does the continued industrial, commercial, and living unit density development affect Danvers's infrastructure, systems, police, school, tech center?
Well, okay, so I mean, obviously, we know that it affects it drastically, and that's something that we have to be very thoughtful and mindful of in moving forward. I would like to see the storefronts filled up first. Let's get some businesses in here first, and then let's also see how many of these 142 apartments get built before another building gets permitted to have housing. I'm also extremely concerned about the accessory dwelling units being built. As a realtor, I think it could be a real detriment to property values, especially if what was presented in the warrant articles of them having their own separate water and sewer and not be hooked up to the house. That puts a whole new spin on it, because now that means that at some point they may be able to be sold off as condos or something else. And so that's going to be its own form of overpopulation in town that is going to tax water and sewer and our services. So yeah, we have to be very, very mindful of and have a long-range plan. I think we can build things, you know, reactively. We've got to be proactive about a long-range plan and not just reactively let things be built. So that's my take.
Very good, Natalie, thanks. Sandy? You're up.
I'm also concerned with the same question. We don't have the resources to accommodate the residents that we have now, and now we're going to increase that even more. So I'm just not sure how the town is going to handle that situation, if there's a budget for that or not. Another thing too is I agree with Natalie, we do need to bring in more businesses in town. We need to bring more revenue, more commerce, more people come in to help us revitalize the square. I was thinking about possibly coming up with, you know, some fun ideas, to like a restaurant week, or drop into Danvers, just a couple of things to put out there. And we can also use Falcon Fest to help us out with that. Let's see if we can't draw people in to the town and see if this is a place where they want to do business with us and spend their money too as well. So I'm just hoping we can find a way to have enough resources to accommodate the growth if in fact that actually happens or not. So thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Mike?
In this case, you know, I said it before, responsible development that aligns with the Danvers residents' long-term goals for this town is with the utmost importance for this issue. You know, I'm trying to ensure that the infrastructure improvements that we make are both sustainable and beneficial to us as the residents. We can't expand without fixing what we have right now. The roads, the water, as some of the candidates mentioned, the trash pickup, the abandoned storefronts that I mentioned before. These all go hand in hand, and this is all part of our infrastructure. And we need to keep in mind that preserving the town's unique character has to remain Danvers. There can't be these big developments that look out of place. I think it was Newton Town Square that actually made a mandate that all the storefronts had to be uniform to fit an old town charm. And if you walk through this town square, you'll see that. There wasn't a Dunkin' Donuts allowed in some places. There wasn't a Starbucks allowed to be put. And why can't we do that in Danvers? Danvers has always had that charm, and we're missing it now. But we have to be responsible and keep every resident in mind when we expand. Because it's inevitable. Expansion's inevitable.
Thank you, Mike and Mark.
Let's face it, there's not a lot of land left in the town of Danvers. If one of you can persuade Bobby Connors to sell his farm, you might be onto something. However,
Why sell a gold mine?
yeah, exactly. That's a one-time lump sum. There is no more land in Danvers. They built it. They built the $1 million homes. The only place that Danvers can go right now is up. And by going up, and we've mentioned traffic, and some folks in town hall months ago said, "We don't have a traffic problem." They're still saying that. Try getting down Conant Street to Elliott Street, and then, God forbid, you go on Maple Street and try to get to Route 1. You can't get there from here, right? You can't. It's a disaster in town. We don't have a parking problem. Yet, I know one local business that her employees are getting tickets for parking in the municipal lot. We need to do something. We need to create parking passes for local businesses, for their employees. There are so many things. We cannot continue to build up. Industrial, our industrial, as much as I'd like to expand it, it goes the same way. We don't have the land. I think our industrial vacancy rate is less than 5% right now. Commercial, on the other hand, just look at downtown. That'll show you where we're at. As a select board, as a community, we need to come together. We need to stop the big developments or find someplace else to locate them. EMS, Mike, maybe you can bring Jimmy George back and just have somebody walking the beat downtown. That's what we need. Thank you.
All right, great, thanks a lot, Mark. So we've gone through the order, we're gonna go to the top of the order, Natalie will start the next question. So anybody got a question? Well, you made me go to the book. Okay, we're gonna go. Okay, let's see what we got here.
He's got a question.
Oh, okay, there you go.
It was mentioned by somebody that we should build new schools. Currently working at the schools, and I came into town 32 years ago, so we're right there. And every school has been rebuilt. I think it started at Riverside, worked it all the way through till now. It's now Smith is done. Beautiful school. The high school and the middle school, that was a long process for us. What needs to be done is the upkeep. You need to keep it up, make it more modern for today. If anything's going wrong, fix that problem. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? But you could probably do that. And that's,
What's the basic question?
I didn't like the idea. We've already done the schools, and that's a big expense. Any town, especially how much schools cost right now. I think we should concentrate on upgrading the schools. Some of the systems. How old's the middle school and high school? About 20? Is it?
It's not that old.
Not even that old.
My daughter was the first one to go through this. She was a freshman the first year that the high school opened.
kids probably know each other.
Probably.
But some of them, some of the systems are breaking down, fix those. There's better windows to get better, do that stuff. We don't need to build new schools. We got plenty of schools in this town and around this town.
So basically, to sum, what would be the best option for Danvers as opposed to building new schools? How can we maintain and keep our current schools in shape, and even if we have to expand them, but not a new building?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and Abby, you get the luck of the draw. You're up first.
So,
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
oh, no, it's all right.
Forgive me.
I didn't know something was changing.
No.
Okay, so I don't have children, and so I don't have children that have gone through the school system. However, as a realtor, I definitely know how important school systems are. And I do know the amount of money that schools are costing cities and towns right now. I was having this conversation with somebody today who, in Essex, at home actually, that I'm gonna be listing there, and they are part of a regional school in Manchester's schools. They've asked for another $900,000, but yet their schools are falling apart. So clearly somebody's dropping the ball there and not watching what's going on. And I do think that that would be a conversation that would have to happen during the budget time. And the school superintendent, I think, would have to start working that into their budget. And also, maybe if it was a bigger item, it would become one of the capital projects that would have to get done and budgeted for. But absolutely, there is no reason not to take care of your homes, because to keep your investment, right? And so these are investments for our town, and so we do need to maintain them, not just let them fall apart and then ask for a new one, so.
And Dan's brand new, so he's, we all say he's great. He's good to work with and
Right.
everything like that.
Yep,
But, yeah,
right,
I'm not putting anything on him, but
right.
going forward.
Right, and I think that that's a conversation that the superintendent would have to be involved with, and know that you're gonna be expected as part of your budgeting process to be looking for problems that are happening in these different schools, so we can start getting a handle on them now and not later.
Yeah, and knowing him, he probably already is.
Yeah, I'm sure he probably is too. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up, Sandy.
My kids went to Thorpe School. They did have to do some maintenance work at the school, and they did expand on the library as well too, so they kind of did some kind of construction there too, but I agree. For example, when they did middle school, they spent all this money on marble flooring. Do the kids really need, I forgot what type of material it was in the middle school. And I don't know why they had to spend that kind of money for that. I think they need to just take a good look at how they're building the schools, and does it make sense? Because now with all the new equipment too that we have, I think that might be the concern as well. They can't use the smart boards, they can't use certain equipment too as well. So, but I agree, I mean, we have great buildings, I mean, they've been around forever. I mean, they don't build them like that anymore. So I agree, I think they just have to figure out a way in the budget how to account for that. And then also see which one takes preference too. Which school should be, working on it first. And I don't know if they'll be able to do it at every budget cycle, but at least bring attention to it. So I do agree, something should be done. Anything else that you want to add?
On the schools?
No, just in my response, I didn't know if you needed.
No, that's good, yeah.
Oh, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Mike?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I brought it up in my opening remarks, that we need to invest in our schools. Investing in our schools is investing in our future residents of Danvers. And probably one of the most important things next to elder care and senior housing. We can learn a lot from our past, but we need to invest in our future. And I think those play hand in hand. To address your question directly, do we need to build new schools? Absolutely not. There's enough land there that we can expand and update and add classrooms where needed. And we need to hire more teachers to alleviate the strain on our educators right now, because I believe from some of the educators that I've spoken with in the elementary school that our classrooms are almost at full capacity. And with over 28 students, we need an additional person in the classroom. And we're quickly approaching that number of 28 students. So, you know, and special education is another thing. I think that what we're doing with special education is great, but we need to do a lot more. And, you know, that's, a lot of that education is one-on-one. And that, it goes from, you have one teacher with 28 kids that aren't special ed, and we have one-on-ones. So we need to invest in both, and that's part of the whole school system in general. And I'd like to close with saying, again, investing in our schools is investing in the future residents of Danvers, and is very important. Thank you.
Okay, Mike, thanks a lot. Mark?
I'm gonna take a different approach here. Natalie was right. If your roof's leaking, you get it fixed. If your house needs painting, you paint it. Danvers is unique that they have their own buildings division. So they're charged with fixing, repairing, maintaining the schools. Do we have outside contractors? Yes, we do. But the building supervisor, who works in town hall, needs to take more direction from his superiors, which would be the director of DPW, of which we don't really have one right now. We have an acting one. We also need the town manager to see what's going on. If it's a capital improvement, if you have to spread it out, you do it in bits and pieces, then you do it in bits and pieces. But right now, we have a buildings division. They need to be held accountable, bottom line. It shouldn't. If regular maintenance is performed, if you perform regular maintenance on your house, you don't have any problems. Yes, something's always gonna go wrong. If they do the same regular maintenance on your schools, you shouldn't have a problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Next up, Kevin.
So I think, sir, you're responding to my comment and in your question. You were
schools?
responding, yeah, you're responding to a comment that I made earlier,
Yeah.
maybe. So in my written remarks, which you'll see in the Salem News on Wednesday, I'll say that we need to deal with aging school buildings.
Okay.
So I'm not necessarily advocating for replacement. You know, we went through one of the most contentious issues I can remember in town was what to do about the middle school. And we eventually took a former middle school, rehabbed it. My daughter goes there now. It's a very nice school. I think ultimately we made the right choice there.
Absolutely.
I think, if I remember, every school was redone except Thorpe, because that was the newest one at the time. And it looks exactly the same as when I was a Thorpe Tiger in 1992.
I was wrong, I'm sorry.
So I don't think it's so much about replacing, but even a new roof, new HVAC, these are all expensive enough that they're capital investments, right? So I think we do need a long-term plan. Some of these things are going to surprise us. You don't necessarily know when the boiler goes, right? But we should have a long-term plan because most of these things are predictable. Systems have a general useful life, and so maybe that exists, but I've never seen it. So I'd really like to see a long-term plan that says, here's what we think the useful life of these various systems are. Here's when we think we need to replace them, and maybe in some cases, here's when this school needs what we did in the 90s or 2000s and we need to shut the school down for a year, put the kids off to neighboring elementary schools and kind of do a complete refurb of the school because it's multiple systems. It's not just one thing. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Kevin. Okay, so you know what? By my calculations, if we ask another question, we're going to go past 8 o'clock. So we'll start the final, closing comments from each candidate. So that will be, Sandy, you go first, and we'll go through the rule. But before we do, I just want, it's been a great conversation, and I know that these guys are all new at being a candidate, so it's refreshing to hear the non-political answers. But at any rate, we'll just finish up. We'll finish early, so after they finish the comments, hopefully you guys can stay and mingle with the candidates if you want to talk.
We can talk to a stranger.
Yes.
Strangers.
I just want to let everyone know, I am really excited for this campaign and get voted in as one of the new select board members here in Danvers. I have attended quite a few of the select board meetings and am ready and excited to get started for the venture. I know some of those can get long sometimes. I feel it's time for a change, time to bring in fresh ideas and new perspectives into the select board, and would love nothing more than to represent you, the voters. I can't do this alone, but together we can shape a brighter Danvers. Champion our town beauty, stop the overload, revitalize our soul, empower our people, and I would like to be that last piece of the puzzle that completes the puzzle here in Danvers. Thank you for your support and thank you for your vote. Early voting is April 26th from 10 to 4, Mail-in voting is on April 29th, and election day on May 6th, and I hope I'll get your votes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandy. And Mike,
I want to say I'm honored to be up here with 5 amazing new candidates. I think we all bring something similar yet different, and it's up to you as the residents of Danvers to make your choice. I hope what I said tonight resonated with some of you, if not all of you, and you have to make the ultimate decision at the ballot box. Who resonates most with you? And I'm hoping that I'd be that person. So thank you again for listening to what I had to say tonight, and I hope I can get your endorsement on May 6th.
Thank you, Mike, and Mark.
Jim, thanks for having us tonight. I've been in town my entire life. I've seen some great things in Danvers. Danvers has made me who I am today. Yeah, I had a little stint at BU that when I went off to college, but Danvers has shaped me to the person that I am today. What you see is what you get. I have to be true to me. I'm going to be true to my family. I'm going to be true to you. I'm not going to tell you something and not mean it. When I tell you something, if you ask me a question, I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel, whether you want to hear it or not. Does that make me a bad person? I don't know, but I can't make everybody happy. But I'll do my best to listen and to support the community. That's the best I can do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much. Kevin?
Yeah, thanks Jim, and to the Danvers Republican Town Committee for hosting us tonight. I think this was a great event. I look forward to meeting some of you if I haven't met you yet after we're done here. I think we have 5 great candidates up here. I think if you threw a rock in this general direction, don't please, but if you did, I think you'd hit somebody that would do well for you on the select board. Again, I want to reiterate some of what I said before. I'm running because local government matters and it should deliver excellent services. I want to restore transparency and accountability to the select board and our town government in general. I want to ensure fiscal responsibility with discipline and creativity and invest where it matters. And I want to ensure that Danvers stays Danvers through our zoning, planning, and land use policies. Thank you very much. I'm asking for your vote on May 6th.
Thank you very much, Kevin. And our last data is Natalie.
Clean.
Clean. Natalie. Doing the business.
So thank you all for coming tonight, and thank you, Mark, for Jim for putting this together, and Mark for taping it. I was looking at him. So yes, this is going to be a hard decision, I think, for everybody. Getting to know some of the candidates here, I think we've all got similar worries, similar concerns, similar desire to make Danvers back to what it was and even better. So I hope tonight has given you a sense of who I am, not just as a candidate, but as a neighbor, a volunteer, and someone who does truly care about Danvers. So as you prepare to vote, I hope you think about which candidates are going to be the most transparent, be the most accountable, that are going to really just bring to you what we need, which is someone who's going to work hard and try to get this town back on track. I believe I'm that candidate. I'd be honored to earn your vote, and thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate everyone coming, and this whole meeting was for you guys. So look at that, we have 35 minutes to schmooze with someone you don't know. I could bloviate for hours, but you know what? I'm going to zip it. This meeting is over.
No, you're staying. Guys, today we have Mike Bean here, and he's a seasoned selectman after 1 year.
I don't know, he said he was a rookie.
No, he thinks he's a rookie, but he's going to be senior very soon. Now, you guys have done a very presentable, presentation for your position. What did you actually expect out of this meeting? Mark?
I'm not quite sure what I expected. I really don't know. I thought it was refreshing the way it turned out. The community members that turned out here, and the way they listened, and some of the questions were.
That's right.
Were amazing.
That's what it's about. It's the relationships right here.
Correct.
How about you, Mike? The other Mike now.
The good Mike and Mike. The good Mike.
The good Mike.
Who's Mike? I didn't come in with any expectations. I just wanted to connect and convey my platform to the residents of Danvers, and I think that we did that today, and I think that I connected with a few of them because I saw some smiles as I was speaking and saying some things, and that was nice.
And that's how the relationships happen. And the one thing that I noticed, and you may correct me, is that everybody's so worried about open meeting law. This is communications. I don't care how many of you show up, but you need to communicate.
Absolutely.
And what do you think?
Everything you said, I agree with, because it is concerning being on the select board. I don't want to say something I shouldn't, but I get opinions too, and I feel the same way as everybody did tonight. How do we keep Danvers a small town, get enough business going in here, get the budget down or maintain it somehow?
Well,
there's a lot of money. There's $150 million out there, and it's costing us to run this place. The schools, we have $53 million budget in the schools. It's just huge.
I've got a very interesting tidbit about the budget, because I asked for where did the free cash come from, and that's a misnomer. But $9 million out of the $13.47 million has come from receipts of meals tax, room tax, and from the dump. And the thing is, how are we going to spend it? Is there a plan for it? That's my whole point, is we have a lot of money floating around.
We do, and I understand your point. The other side of it is that with these pockets of money, we're going to buy a fire truck in cash.
Yeah, that's how it should be done.
It should be done. So when you look at those things, I like that. But
Good.
Yes, knowing the details of all the money, yeah, it's, of course we could probably do better. Right?
Well, we're going to be looking at it at the Finance Committee, and you're going to be there.
Right, which is good, because everybody takes a good look at it.
All right, thank you guys, and good luck on May 6th.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you.
How did you think it went? No, you guys stay there too. Come on, come on. Don't be bashful. So, what did you think of the questions and the turnout today?
So I'm really glad that we got to do this. It's out of my wheelhouse, so I was a little bit nervous, but it was nice to be able to present what I feel I can bring to the board, and in an environment that was very accepting. So it was a nice group.
That's the exposure you need for election day. And the thing is, you have any reservations about this? Because you were very reserved about the other show, but this will be aired again on cable.
Well, of course, taping my introduction at DCAT yesterday, again, very out of my wheelhouse. I'm sure I'm going to think I look terrible, but it's got to be done, I suppose.
You did very well, and like I said, you're in. Just wondering, what did you think of the reaction that you got from the public?
I thought tonight went really well. We had a really polite and engaged audience. I think all the candidates did a great job. I think, I'm certainly going to go home and think, man, I wish I had said this, or I wish I had said that differently. I'm sure all of us are, but I think it was a great event, and really thanks to the organizers for putting it on, and thanks to the folks that showed up for their thoughtful questions and their attention.
Thank you. Now.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Oh yes, you're on. You're on already.
Okay.
So what we need is a name and address, and you had the question about the schools.
Yeah.
Could you just elaborate on that a little bit?
We pretty much got all new or brand almost new schools in town. We shouldn't be building anything else, but we should be keeping up on the maintenance on the ones we have.
And that's exactly what's happening right now, because the only new school was the Smith School.
Yeah.
And that is...
Well, I'm sure Dan has already in the pipeline, but just needs to, when somebody just said to me,
I can't hear you.
When he said new school, I was like, we don't need more new schools.
Right. We need to maintain them.
Maintain the ones we have.
And the beauty in Danvers is that the town hall maintains and operates the buildings, not the school committee.
Oh, I know that.
And the school committee usually avoids any maintenance or operations, but because they concentrate on the salaries and wages of teachers.
Yeah, the guys from the DPW and that are always down there doing work.
And there is a program that identifies which schools have to have what done in a cycle.
Yeah, I'll talk to Dan tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Finally got me on.
I got you on.
I don't know if I'm going to get in your show, though.
I got 124 minutes left. Mark.
Listen, we need to endorse Brandon Carroll, Precinct 4.
That's why I just pushed him around a little bit. He does need it. What did you think of the reaction of the public that you had?
I thought it was positive. It was great. I just had some positive feedback from a former electric light person. Brandon come over and he was talking, and just the atmosphere in the room tonight was kind of electric. So it was. I was a little nervous going in, like I was on your show, but I had Tony sitting next to me, so I was all set.
That's right.
But I think it was a very positive night. So.
Well, great, thank you. And this is an opportunity for you to meet the public, but it's also an opportunity to meet your contenders.
Yes.
And you have to size them up.
There's no size in it. Any candidate in this room can step right into that select board and do an amazing job. I mean, some of the ideas, we're all pretty consistent together,
right?
Which was heartening to hear everybody's opinions. I mean, nobody's doing this for any political gain. We're all doing this to save the town.
Well, that's the beauty of it.
Getting Now
Roll.
we need to hold certain groups, certain individuals accountable for
That's right.
everything that goes on in town.
So, would you do me a favor?
Mark, anything for you.
Now, we've had a discussion about your sign, and your sign has come out excellent. It's very bright, very colorful, and it represents you very well. So everybody should be looking out for Mark Lantini for Select Board.
Thank you, Mark.
To complete the effort of the candidates, of all the candidates, I have reached out at the library grounds because both Gardner Trask and Dan Bennett were present on the grounds at 6:30 at 6 o'clock before the forum began, because they wanted to be part of something that was organized for the candidates. And I am not one that would eliminate anyone from any discussion. I went out there with the camera and talked to the two candidates because they deserve to be on film as well. And what I'm doing with my show is presenting the individual candidates, but also I am planning to do a candidate forum or question and answer session for Dan Bennett and Gardner Trask. They have served this town for many years, and what we're going to do is we're going to inform the rest of the public of who they are, what they have done, and how they have persevered over the last 16 to 18 years being in office. So that's what we'll be talking about. But to give you a little bit of a picture indication, at the end of this presentation, I have some clips that I've taken, and I have asked them the question, what are you doing here? And they are just becoming part of something else that's going on at the library grounds.
Well, thanks for doing that, because I was inside sweating bullets trying to get ready for my event.
Well,
and I missed all the drama outside. So
there is no drama. All there was is, and if you'll see on the clip, the drama was that they wanted to be present. And congratulations. I'm glad you came, and you were on public grounds, and we all deserve to be heard. So thank you, Gardner Trask and Dan Bennett, and I'll see you on Friday evening at 4 p.m., and we'll do the candidate forum for the incumbents.
Very good, Mark.
So thank you very much. Watch the little clip. All it is presentation of the individuals that were present at the library grounds. And I had some very nice shots of the library, too. So we'll take a look at that. Good night. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again. Well, we'll see each other again very soon, but we need to get the excitement going for the voters, because we deserve a government that's responsive to what the residents want, not what the politicians want.
Amen. With the FinCom coming up with the budget and the warrant articles, and let's not forget the citizens petition, but we'll see you on the trail, people. Let's go.
All right. Good night, good morning, good afternoon, whenever that is, and enjoy the final clips of the new candidate forum that was held on April 8th at the library grounds. Thank you, and good night.
Good night.
One take, that's it. Can I just shoot you?
You can, literally, yes, please.
No, I don't want to shoot you. but I wonder, how are things going with your campaign?
Campaign is going very well.
And I appreciate you.
I look forward to meeting with you Friday.
I think I'm still waiting for an answer on the other side, but hey, it may be just you and me.
No, Bettencourt?
No, just
No,
you.
Tony?
You want Tony?
No, your sidekick.
My straight man.
Your straight man.
Tony's been used up.
Okay.
But this is good location for you. And what made you come out today for this area?
Well, I heard there was an event,
There you go.
so we're out here because there's people here.
Good for you. Thank you very much for I want to see if Gardner's around.
He is.
Yeah, he is.
He is.
All right.
We got a couple people on the other side.
And
Hello?
hello. And what have you got to say for yourself? I see you got two signs.
I do.
Two hands, two signs.
Two hands, two signs.
That's right.
But she's
The
got.
experience and knowledge we need. How's that?
There you go. That's the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever people want. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, well,
All right.
we need experience and knowledge.
Interested on your, you guys are out here. There you go. Look at this.
We decided to do a standout.
Good for you.
Given that we weren't invited, we're officially not invited to the inside event. We think it's important for people to know that there are all the candidates who are running.
Absolutely. And there are 7.
There are 7 running, of
And-
which only 5, the 5 registered Republicans will be inside answering for the Republican Town Committee, and 2 unenrolled were intentionally omitted. And so we thought it would be a good opportunity to let people know there are 2 more candidates that they could choose from.
Great. Thank you very much. The one thing that I don't really understand sometimes, it's supposed to be non-party related.
It is.
So that
You've got
we've
Mike
never
Bean.
had that before.
You've got Mike Bean as being one of the executives on the Republican Town Committee and the sponsor tonight. So
Yeah. Well, so was Dan
Sandy.
years ago.
Dan was. He's
Yeah.
not, but
I know.
Sandy's also a member of the Republican Town Committee,
Yep.
and good for them. But
And we need people, all kinds of people
we
to be
absolutely
on it. So,
I just think it's disingenuous to omit people.
well, you know my feeling, and I've been working on you for a while, and I hope you come on Friday. It's up to you.
Still in discussion with my team.
Then your team is team. That's right.
That's right.
All right. So just don't let it become, a vacancy, because I really would appreciate to have you on.
I do understand.
And because that makes the whole 7.
I
So,
do.
did you see the last week's Friday show?
I just started watching it.
Good. Thank you very much, and good luck on your. I like your signs.
Thank you. We had a
Well,
graphic
this is a-
designer,
this
a
is-
professional graphic designer do these. So well, he's on the team, but yeah. But I do like the colors.
The colors are different.
They do. They are. I'm
At
not
least-
my usual red, white, and blue.
I know. I noticed that last year,
Yeah.
and
They came out nice. I like them. I like them a lot.
nobody stole my maroon color this year.
No. I can't remember what color your signs were. I haven't seen them.
Royal velvet.
They-
Royal. What is it? It's like purple,
Yeah.
basically. So, all right. Whoa, you got some little guys.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of people who were. We put out the call yesterday, and a lot of people responded.
Good for you. Good for you. Well, hope to see you on Friday at 4.
I will let you know.
I know you will.